welcome to our Web Users Forum. We've been having these every month, and we'll continue to have them every month until probably July of next year, depending on where we are with the new site and the launch, and there's new projects coming down the pike that we'll be talking about later on, and I'm sure that will be continuing. Soon to be at Augusta University. Soon to be being hopefully in 2 weeks. That's our scheduled date to go live with the new domain, and Devin's going to talk about that. But from now until December 30th, you really need to be reviewing your content on your website. Danielle created a wonderful little booklet called Web Content Guidelines. It's on the Web Team website under Guidelines. It's also under the new redesigned site. There's one called Guidelines, Web Content Guidelines there. This will really give you a good idea on what your content needs to be on the website, and Danielle's going to be talking about that in just a few minutes. December 1st, continue reviewing your pages. Remember, this transition from the old site to the new site is going to happen way before I think any of us is ready for it to happen, so start working on it now. New server, Davin, tell us about it.
Okay, so there's actually a couple things that I'll address real quick. So the December 1st on changing the domain name, that is our projected hopeful date, and you know how it goes around here, projected and hopeful usually end up being, yeah, right. If everything falls into place, December 1st is when we're looking to do it, but there's a lot of moving parts and that have to actually get into place before that can happen. But what will happen whenever we do that is we're going to set the server up to recognize both Augusta.edu, and that's not technically the domain name for sure. We don't know, so don't go saying that out loud.
It hasn't been approved. It's been suggested. It's going through the authorities and everything, but it has not been approved.
Yeah, so we'll make the web server recognize both domain names, and hopefully gru.edu will continue to work for the next year so that if we do miss a URL change, we can spot it in that time frame. We will also do a site-wide find and replace for URLs and some branding marks like Georgia Regents University and things like that. And we will be changing those site-wide automatically. Now, automatically usually means it works 98% of the time, and some things are probably going to break. So we're going to let you know whenever we're doing this so that you can go and check your stuff. And the other thing is anything that is not inside of OU campus will not get changed automatically. So if you have pages that you maintain outside of OU campus, those must be changed manually. So keep that in mind. I'm looking at the library back there. Guys. So we'll do the domain name change, and then we'll do a rebrand, and we'll put the new logo up, and that's if everything works perfectly, and if not, we'll handle that when it happens. I mean, if it happens.
It will happen. It just when.
To what extent?
So along those same lines, we are also going to be moving our web server from GRU's on-premises to a cloud hosting service. We feel like that they would be able to provide a little bit better service than what we're able to do now. They've got a little more expertise in some of the stuff that we're doing. And whenever we have things like internet outages on campus, it won't take our website down. So that process is ongoing. We've identified a vendor. We're in the process of purchasing that hosting space. And at some point, we'll be moving the entire website from locally hosted to cloud-based. Now, if everything goes right, you shouldn't notice a thing if everything goes right. That's another one of those things that there's a lot of stuff that we have to do to get it kind of working, and it should work flawlessly. I don't foresee a problem, but there might be some that we haven't seen. But basically, whenever this happens, we'll send out another email that says, hey, we're switching hosts. If you notice anything weird, let us know, because we're going to be looking for weird things that entire day to see if anything is not working the way it should be.
And this is hopefully before January 1.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to have this server in place by the end of this month. That way we can play with it for a month and then relaunch on around the 1st of January on the new server. Like I said, that's another timeline that's kind of iffy depending on a lot of things. The contract is in purchasing, and you know how long that takes. So it might be January before they even approve it. So we'll see what happens there. But hopefully that'll give us the ability to implement some new tools and things like that to make your job a little easier and to give us some more reliability and things like that. So look for that email sometime in the next couple of months to let you know what's happening with that. And I think that's everything I've got for that.
Next slide. Well, redesign. Heather, talk about it. Well,
I'm going to be over here, so maybe I'll just grab the phone so everybody can hear me. The web redesign project's coming along. We now actually have access to the new design in OU campus to work on. So I'm going to pull it up and show you guys so that you can be super excited.
Right now, only the web team has access to this. As we start migrating content in, we'll be adding you as a user to your particular section to work in it. So we wanted to show you the new design. We've built out some of the admission pages.
Right, so I hope you'll see this and immediately say, oh, that's different. We have new menus. We're still having some issues getting all of this worked the way we would like it, but for the most part, everything's there. Also, to make this much easier to work on the new fancy pages, everything's modular. So inside of OU Campus, when you actually go in to edit the new pages, you'll see we have tons of content areas instead of just the 2 or 3 that you probably see now.
All those little green buttons or edit zones on a page.
We're also going to be launching a feature called Just Edit whenever we launch the new version of the website. That allows you to, you know how now you have to click that green button, it takes you to a new web page to edit that. It's going to do editing in line where it is now. That way you don't have to actually go to a separate page, save it, go to publish and see what it looks like. Everything should work in the browser, in the editor before you have to.
Just like so.
Yep.
Actually, I don't know how to get out of it. Well, there we are. And now I've learned as well.
Yeah. I've been working in it for the past 2 weeks, and I love it. As long as we're working with OU Campus to get the menu structure so that it will work the way we anticipate it working, so that you have what are actually called nested menus, so that when you have a folder within your main folder, that folder name will show up and you'll have a little arrow with a drop down, and then the pages within that folder should display in that little drop down arrow for you. Currently, we've got some JavaScript or some CSS issues right with that. So they're working on it. I talked to Benny today about it. They're aware and they know what we want it to do and everything. But other than that, we're really excited about it. I've been working on admissions, academics, and financial aid. Those are the kind of top tier pages we're really focusing towards our new prospective students, really trying to get a dynamic site out there that will give them all of the information that they need.
I know this was trying to show that it also has the responsive design in place so that even here you can see that you get class menus and everything that's really great on mobile.
The whole site will work great on iPads, mobile, all across the board, everything. Plans are to migrate our current site content first week in January. if we're on the cloud-based server, if everything falls into place. I mean, again, we've got a lot of moving parts here, and one thing can hold up a lot of our dates down the line. But our plans with OU Campus right now is to migrate the current site, gru.edu, all of that content into the new template design first week in January. It will not be live. You will not be able to see it until we actually work with you on your content within the new design, give you access to it, make sure you can get in and work on those pages. Okay, so that's going to take probably about a month, maybe a month and a half of going through everything and making sure everybody's got access to their pages, can review their pages. Then we're hoping to go live latter part of March. We're getting a real push from the Provost Cabinet that we really need to get this out. And I totally agree, but we've had a lot of setbacks over the past couple months. One of them being, let's just change the name. So hopefully by the latter part of March, we'll have our new site up. Everything will not be perfect in it. There will be broken links. Just know that we will work with you. The web team's here to help you. We'll be working on things constantly throughout it and trying to make it easier. Site Improve is going to be your best friend. Anything else, Heather?
I think that covers it.
Web content. Danielle, talk to us about content.
All right. Well, if you're here, you should have received a web content booklet that is in the back. If you're not here and you're either on the meeting or watching this afterwards, you can see a guide on the website, on the web team. But really, this is a resource not just for us, but we created it specifically for you. It's a way for you to really understand what goes on the website. Not content, you're the ones writing the content, but how to present it and how to present it to meet the audience that you want to meet. For instance, like one of the very first questions is, who is your audience? But you have to know who that is before you even start figuring out what's on your page. Who are you talking to? So as you go through this, it's fairly organized. It should be in a friendly fashion. Talks about your audience. It talks about what goes on the internet versus what goes on the intranet, because that's also a major thing. Some of the things that currently are on the website shouldn't be there. It should be on the intranet. You know, private meeting minutes, you know, stuff like that, that really the average person off the street just looking on the website doesn't need to know.
And know that that's the next big project that's going to be hitting us right after the first of the year. We've been tasked with creating an intranet for the university using OU Campus so that all the web users will be familiar with it and everything. Hopefully we'll be able to use existing web pages that have that kind of internal information on them. You won't have to recreate them, but those pages really don't belong on the public site. We can leave them in the GRU site, correct? And then when we have build the internet out, we can just copy them over to the internet and hopefully have pretty much close to the same kind of structure as far as colleges and departments and everything. So don't do anything with those pages, but just be aware that they really don't belong on the external site. And when we get into the external site, you'll be able to delete them off of there, but they'll stay on the old GRU site.
Mm-hmm. There's also a few things on there about just guidelines and rules to follow, whether those are Board of Regents regulations, university regulations, and even tips on how to make your site more accessible to people, whether it's through disabilities and just making it readable. So there's a lot of good resources in here, and one of the purposes behind this is also to give you some power, in that when your boss comes to you and says, oh, I really, really, really need to have a flashing background on this site, and it's really important, so we need to have it flashing red and green and blue, and it has to go on there now. You can pull out the guidelines and say, no, we can't do that because this is what the rules say. So it's a way to give you some backup and support from us. Did I miss anything?
Any questions about it? This will fall in with our web governance as soon as we start getting that laid out and in place. These guidelines will come into play there. They will be part of that whole web governance package. We'll be expanding on this. We may even go out and do some different versions for different aspects of the site, how your architecture should be laid out and things like that. So, great. Thanks, Danielle. Web governance, as I said, we're waiting on the Provost office to approve the web governance plan. We have a 1-year plan and a 90-day plan that we have proposed. As soon as that gets approved by the cabinet, we'll start moving forward with our web governance and assigning key people or unit, what are they called, unit leaders and unit owners for each major college and department. And we'll talk more about that when it comes into being. Next. Site Improve. Like I said, Site Improve is going to be your friend, especially once we get the site migrated into the new design. You're going to see your broken links increase, I'm sure. I mean, it's just inevitable that it's going to happen because of the way people have created links within OU Campus. If they were created through OU Campus, in other words, you went in and you selected the folder and the page within OU Campus rather than just copying a URL and pasting it in, they'll automatically be updated. If you copied and pasted that URL from another gru.edu site and just pasted it in, it may not go through. Some may and some may not. It's going to be a little tricky there. So you're going to have to use Site Improve to go in and see where your broken links are. This is going to be an ongoing process for the next 6 months. It's not going to be an easy fix. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to be something that you're just going to have to be conscious of and keep reviewing Site Improve. We've done really well. We're down to, 721 broken links as of yesterday. That's from 11,000 that we had back in April. That's a big improvement. Thank you all for the work you've done on that. Thank the web team for the work they've done on it. It's one of those things that when that report comes in, a lot of us, Danielle, Eric, Channing and I, Heather and Davin, we'll sit there and pick out a section and work on a section of it and correct them. So just keep chipping away at them.
Oh, may I add something to that?
Yes, please.
It looks like right now a majority of the broken links are links to external site, which is something to keep in mind. If you put a link that goes to an external site, that site could change. Perfect example, I came across one yesterday. There was a link to a conference, like an annual conference. Well, that conference had come and gone. So that the external site had done away with that page, but we were still linking to it. So be mindful of that. If you're linking to other sites, those sites change and evolve, and we need to make sure those links still work and still function.
Also, the tool itself, the way it crawls, there are some pages that it won't let it crawl to, so it puts them up as broken.
Yeah.
You're never going to get 000.
Yeah.
That's 300.
Yeah.
It's always on there. You
Yeah.
until they work.
Yeah.
We hit ignore, but
If you hit ignore, but then sometimes it'll pick them back up, and but yeah.
Yeah.
We can strive for it. Maybe one day we'll have it, right? Okay, next is OU Campus, OU 10 training. We've finished all of our training sessions for this year. We didn't schedule any in December because of the holidays. A lot of people are out in December. It's a fairly slow month academically, shall we say. We are scheduling classes in January and February. We'll have one each week. They'll be in person or online. These will be focused on the new template and how to work in the new template. So we're encouraging everyone to sign up for a class in January or February. So you'll be familiar with how to work in the new template. Okay? We haven't gotten the confirmation of the dates yet. As soon as we get that, we'll get them posted on the website. And the next one is the calendar. The calendar is a big success. Remember to post your events on the calendar. I don't like getting emails from senior leaders saying, "Where's my event? It's not on the calendar." Please be aware of all of the events within your departments and your schools and put them in the calendar. Okay? It's getting a lot of use. There's great events listed out there. Remember, we can use it for registrations if we need. If you've got an event that goes over the course more than one day, if it's a week-long event or something, you don't have to put it in every day. You can put the start day and the end day, and it will show up on the calendar every day. It just won't be, you won't have to go in there and input it one at a time for each day. Okay? Anything else? Any comments, any questions, any concerns? David?
Not really too much of a concern for everybody else, just needs to look at. But getting into the calendar, I'm on a Mac and it usually saves my password. But I've called some people still, it won't let me in sometimes, so I have to reach out to you. Is there a way, is that always going to be a unique password, or can we set it up to where we all have different ones?
Use that unique password. It should. I use it. I'm on a Mac and I use it.
Well, I'll just call you.
Okay.
Well,
I sent you the sheet, right? I sent you the PDF.
No, we actually you took care of it for me last time I called, which was I think Monday.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Well, the PDF is up on the website, I believe, right?
Yeah. And you might want to try like a password manager or something like that instead of just the basic in-browser one.
Well, Mac has the keychain, but the other alternate, which might be more trouble than it's worth, is you could create an account of your own, but then all your events have to be
approved, right? And I'd rather them go right in, because one of the issues that we're having with the calendar is that when events are put in and have to be approved, if all of the information is not put in there, it can't get approved. If there's no contact information, we have no one to call. We have no one to notify or to ask questions about this event. So those events don't get approved. If you manually put an event in, be sure to put your name, your telephone number, and your email in there. Sometimes just listing them either in the categories or the locations, sometimes it's an overlap there, and it causes confusion, and we have to contact you to find out where exactly the event is or what the exact times are. So it's really good, especially for our web users, to use that unique login and password. Yeah. Thank you very much. We've got an exciting couple months coming up.